It's right up here. My name is Allie. I am a grateful believer in Jesus, currently struggling with anxiety due to people pleasing. Hey guys, so I want to start with just telling you guys a little bit about how I got into recovery. So I came into recovery to deal with my depression that, as it turns out, was due to unaddressed abuse and codependency in my life, right? And trauma. So then, thank you. As a result of this unaddressed abuse in my life, I realized that I struggled with codependency, right? That's where that people pleasing comes in. And also numbing. I numbed with food, booze, exercise, and if we're honest, codependency, because codependency is a way of numbing and not dealing with my problems if I'm too busy worrying about yours, right? It's a way of avoidance. Absolutely. So when I got into recovery, there was no doubt that my life was unmanageable, right? Principle one, there was no doubt that I was powerless to control other people's actions or feelings. I had no control over anybody else and no control, certainly, over myself, right? And then by principle two, I knew that God existed. I knew that he existed, and I knew that he could help, but I doubted whether or not he could help me. I didn't know if he could really help me, but then I worked through that step and that principle. And then I got to step three, principle three, right? Where it's time to turn all my will over to Christ. See, I figured out that I had given him some of it, right? I was a believer. I followed Jesus, and I gave him some of my life, but not all. I gave him my Sundays. I gave him my talents, but not my addiction to making other people happy, not my addiction to trying to fix other people, or what I thought my life should turn out to be like, right? But then I turned it over to Christ's care and control. And so now we get to the steps that we're starting tonight, right? When we got here to principle four, step four, that was a little bit harder for me to deal with. So principle four, it says, openly examine and confess my faults to myself, to God, and to someone I trust. Happy are the pure in heart, Matthew 5:8. And then step four, we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Let us examine our ways and test them, and let us return to the Lord. Lamentations 3:40. So every step here is vital. Every step, every principle is vital to recovery. And I think for each of us, based on our struggle and our experience and our history, different steps and different principles affect us a little bit more than the other. The entire journey through these steps changed my life for the better, but this step, the step that we're starting tonight, the principle that we're starting tonight for, is what the Lord used to bring healing to the most broken and the most damaged parts of my life. Anybody else have that experience? Yeah? Absolutely. Right? So that's what we're going to spend some time on. We're going to spend some time over the next few weeks. We're going to spend some time here on principle four, step four. This is where we start to get right with God. This is where we start to get right with ourselves and with others. So, first things first. People. We need people. Yes, we need people. Yeah. Some of us are addicted to people and we're like, yeah, no problem. I got this people thing. I need all the people in my life, right? Some of you are thinking, people ain't my jam. People ain't my jam. I've been doing this fine by myself. I got here this far, like, nope, I know, because that's how we addicts think. Yeah, we think we know better. We think we do better. We don't need people, right? But Principle 4 says, openly confess my faults to myself, to God, and to someone I trust. You guys, it's time we find the people we trust. It's time to find the people that we trust. Here's the thing. The road to recovery is not meant to be walked alone. It's not meant to be walked alone. We are created for community. God created us for community. He would have just stopped at Adam, right? But he had Eve. Jesus walked with disciples. We were made for community. We need community. And so that's what we're talking about tonight with the sponsor lesson. We're talking about community, and we're going to answer a few questions that you might have, starting with the first one in your fill-ins, in your bulletin, right? Why do I need a sponsor and accountability partners? Why do I need someone? Why do I need someone? Most of us have tried it all by ourselves, right? But we need others to strengthen us, to encourage us, to guide us. We need the people that have gone where we have not been, right? So that they can help lead us through that. We need people that have been where we have been to walk us and guide us through. Some of us are afraid to be alone, right? Those people that are addicted to people. Some of us are afraid to be all alone, and we have all the wrong people around us. We end up in toxic relationships. We end up in dangerous situations because we want to be around the wrong people, right? So we need people, but we also need the right people. We need the right people, the ones that can strengthen us, encourage us, and guide us. Proverbs 27:17 says, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. So my daddy always said, you never want to be the smartest one in the room. You never want to be the smartest one in the room. But that's not how we like things, is it? No, because we want to be the smartest. I want to be the smartest. I want to be the best, right? That's just like human nature. We don't want to be second. No. Side note about me, I'm a very competitive person. I'm very competitive. You will not beat me. No, I'm just kidding. That's the way my brain thinks. We don't want to be second, right? We want to be the smartest. But the thing about that is if we are the smartest one in the room, we're not going to learn anything new. We're not going to grow. Things aren't going to change if we're not challenged, right? Iron sharpens iron. We need people who have walked through what we're in the middle of walking through. We need people who know the struggles and how hard this recovery thing really is. Because it's hard. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Right? We need people so that when we get tired, they can speak life and encouragement. We need someone that can see the change as the change is happening, because in the middle of it, sometimes we don't always see it, right? We need people that see the change, see the progress, and when we feel like, gosh, nothing is happening, I'm just not getting there fast enough, they can cheer us on. When it gets tough and we're running out of energy and feel like, oh, I can't do this anymore, we need people to cheer us on. We also need people to call us out when we get lazy, when we're dragging our feet, because it's just too hard. We feel like we're stuck in quicksand. Sometimes we need those people that are going to push us forward, encourage us, and keep us going. We need people to hold us back when we're running too fast through the steps and we're like, okay, I'm just going to check off all these boxes, right? We need those people that are going to hold us back and say, slow down. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the process of recovery. Let me tell you something. Nobody gets recovery like people in recovery. Nobody gets recovery like people in recovery. When your family doesn't understand, when you feel all alone, nobody gets it like recovery people. We get it. We get you. The CR family understands. So 3 reasons. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. You guys, we are stronger together. We're stronger together. There's a reason gazelles travel in packs, right? But what does the predator do? It gets them singled out so that it can pounce and attack. That's what happens when we are separated from our pack, from our people. You guys, people are dying alone every single day. People are giving up on recovery and giving up on life because they are alone. We need people. The enemy tries to separate us and make us think that no one cares, that no one understands, but we cannot listen to the lies of those enemies. We just can't. People matter. We're stronger together. Having a good support team helps you. And I have a video to show you why. Well, would you look at that? I know some of you are traumatized, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. But here's the thing. Like, we laugh, but recovery is not always a laughing matter. It is a matter of life and death for some. Unfortunately, we have seen that firsthand, even in this ministry. It's a place that it's okay to say, I just don't want to do it anymore, right? I don't understand. This is a safe place. The biggest lie that we tell ourselves, that I have told myself, is I don't want to bother them with my stuff. They're too busy. I don't want to bother them. But here's the thing, as someone who is a sponsor, we need each other. We need each other. Iron sharpens iron. It doesn't say iron is sharpened on a stone. We sharpen each other. We need each other. So when you start to believe that lie, they're not going to understand. I don't want to bother them. They're too busy. All of those things. They don't have time. You matter. You matter. Speak up. We're better together. The second reason that we need accountability and sponsors is that having accountability partners and a sponsor is a key part of our recovery program. Your recovery program has 4 key parts, right? There's 4 key elements. And Jeremy's going to dive into these in a few weeks, so I'm not going to touch on them, right? We're just going to kind of go through them. So you're having a solid support team and a sponsor helps in these areas. Keeping an honest view of reality as you work through each principle, right? They help us to make our recovery meetings a priority when we want to not show up. They help us make sure that we're there. They help us maintain our spiritual program with Jesus, right? They help keep us accountable, make sure we're doing our prayer and Bible reading and all of that. You know, you can do Bible plans together. You can do reading plans together. And then they help get us plugged into service. There's a lot of opportunities to serve here. And if you're not serving somewhere, if you're not feeling like you're plugged in, speak to somebody so that we can get you plugged in and put in there, right? Because that is another place that we can find accountability partners and people to join our pack, right? And to help us along this road to recovery. So the third reason that we need people is having a sponsor or accountability partner is the best guard against relapse. Okay? Having a sponsor or accountability partner is the best guard against relapse. Don't be a gazelle without a pack, you guys. Be a hollering hyena. Be a hollering hyena. Use your people. Don't let pride, fear, judgment, don't let any of that convince you to keep those thoughts secrets. Take them captive by sharing them. Take them captive by sharing them. There's Brene Brown said, I love this quote, shame dies when stories are shared in safe circles. This is safe. Open Share Group is a safe circle, right? So speak up, but also listen. That's the other part. We have to listen. Proverbs 23:12 says, apply your heart to instruction and your ears to words of knowledge. Our sponsors and accountability partners can offer wisdom. They can offer feedback to help keep us on track. Often they see things before we even do, right? When we slip back into our unhealthy ways, our old ways of thinking and doing, they can point it out to us. If we listen, apply our hearts to instruction and our ears to words of knowledge. It's up to us to receive it, right? Y'all, there's no room for pride in recovery. There's just no room. So, what are the qualities of a sponsor? What are the qualities of a sponsor? That's the next fill-in. Though good advice lies deep within a counselor's heart, the wise man will draw it out. That's Proverbs 25. So, when making your selection of a sponsor, these are the qualities you want to look for. Number 1, does his walk match his talk? Is he living the 8 principles? Lots of people can talk the talk. They got that recovery lingo down, but are they walking it out? Are you seeing the fruit in their lives? You want to find somebody that does. Make sure that their life example is worthy of imitation. That's what Paul said, follow my example as I follow the example of Christ. Which is the second one. Does she or he have a growing relationship with Jesus Christ? Are they seeking him, searching for him, spending time with him? The third thing, does he or she express desire to help others on the road to recovery? Helping and fixing are two totally different things. Two totally different things, right? We need to, as sponsors and sponsees, guard our relationships and make sure that they're not becoming unhealthy and codependent. But do they express that desire to want to help others on the road to recovery? The fourth thing you want to look for, does he or she show compassion and care and hope, but not pity? See, the difference is pity lets you stay in it. Pity feels sorry for you, and I'm going to let you stay here, right? That I found somebody that was going to be tough enough with me to give me a kick in the hiney when I needed it, right? So look for someone that is strong enough to confront your denial and procrastination. You want to look for someone that's going to offer suggestions. Do they offer suggestions? Sometimes we need help seeing other options. Sometimes we need help seeing the big picture that we cannot see in the moment, right? And then the last thing you want to look for in a sponsor, can she or he share their own current struggles with others? Right? Are they willing to be open and transparent and vulnerable? Are they, again, working and living the principles? Right? You don't want to find a sponsor that celebrate recovered. Okay? That's denial. Okay? Because recovery is a lifestyle. We're constantly working it. There's not one person that is better than the other. I'm a very flawed individual who is still very much working recovery, right? Because that's how it is. That's the lifestyle of recovery. So these are all qualities of a sponsor. What is the role of a sponsor? Because some of you are like, do I really need a sponsor? Like, what is that sponsor thing? Okay, the role of a sponsor, 6 things. I said 6 things. 6 things a sponsor can do for you. Number 1, be there to discuss issues that are too personal that would take too much time in a meeting. Sometimes open share group is not where you want to hash through trauma, right? You can touch on it, and it's a great place to open up and share, but sometimes we need a sponsor that we can share those things with, right? Number 2, the role of a sponsor, to be available in times of crisis or potential relapse. Sponsor, we call. It's not just somebody that we're going to read our inventory to, right? We want to be able to have somebody that we can call in potential relapse. Number 3, serve as a sounding board by providing an objective point of view. This is especially important when we get to principle 6, right? And we're ready to make amends. We need a sponsor that can encourage us and say, wait, maybe it's not time. Or they can walk us through it, right? What number was I on? 3. Thank you. Number 4, the role of a sponsor, they're there to encourage you to work the principles at your own speed, right? No one can work them for you. They're not going to work the principles for you. They're there to help you, to coach you through the progress, pull the reins if necessary, give you a spur if necessary. That's what a sponsor can do for you. And the last thing that's important to know is that a sponsor can either resign or be fired, okay? They can resign or be fired. This is not a lifelong commitment. You are not marrying this person, right? Because the truth is, we're not dealing with perfect people. We're dealing with people in recovery. People in recovery that are not perfect. Maybe their plates are full. You don't know. But surround yourself with people that are willing to admit, that they're not okay. Maybe they need to take a break. I've had both. I've had to tell people, no, I can't. And I've had people leave recovery, right? It's just what happens, and it's not a reflection on you. Here's the thing, you guys, your recovery is not tied to the success or failure of someone else's recovery. It's not. It's your recovery. It's your responsibility. It's not tied to someone else's. So we talked about the qualities and the roles of a sponsor. The next question, how do I find one? How do I find a sponsor or accountability partners? First thing, if we're talking about a sponsor, it has to be the same sex, okay? Males with males, females with females when dealing with a sponsor. Now, accountability partners for sure, right? But you want the majority, okay, to be the same as you, right? That's how you want it. And then you want to ask yourself, can I relate to this person's story? Does this person have victory in the area that you need victory? That's who you want to look for. And then again, if you ask for somebody to be a sponsor or accountability partner, this is not rejection. It's not a reflection on you, right? Just go with it. Ask somebody else. Small groups, great place to find people. Solid Rock, great place to find people. And most importantly, ask God to lead you to the sponsor and the accountability team that you need. Ask God. He knows you better than anybody. He knows everybody in this room better than anybody else. And so he can help you make the right choice when you're looking for a sponsor and accountability partner. So now what's the difference? How many of you are wondering what's the difference? What is the difference between a sponsor and an accountability partner? This is it. Sponsors have completed the 4 Celebrate Recovery participant guides. That's step study, okay? A sponsor needs to have completed a step study. Can I ask you guys, if you've completed a step study, can you raise your hand? Woo! Look at all these sponsors. Yeah, congratulations. Okay, so if they've completed a step study, I just saved you a question. If they raise their hand, they've completed a step study, right? So you want to find your sponsor that's completed the 12 steps and the 8 principles. Make sure they meet the roles of the sponsor that we just talked about, right? Make sure that they have victory in the area of your struggle. They help guide you through the steps. They're like your coach, right? Whereas accountability partners are the people that are at the same level as you. Maybe they're in the step study with you. They're going through the junk at the same time as you. They're going to hold you accountable in certain areas of recovery or maybe issues. They're going to hold you accountable to make sure that you're showing up at your meetings. They're going to hold you accountable to make sure that you're journaling, that you're making sure that you're doing the steps. It's like an encouraging relationship is your accountability. And you can have a lot of them. You can have a lot of them. Because sometimes your sponsor may be unavailable in a moment of crisis. And so if you have a big team of people, then you can call on them. You can work your way down the list. Okay? Don't just throw in the towel and say, oh, they didn't answer. No. You go down the list, you call people. Recovery is not meant to be done alone. We need people. We need people. But who you choose matters. I want to end with telling you, I have had the wrong people in my life, right? I grew up in church. I was a good girl, but I let the wrong people influence me and guide me down the wrong path. I've also been isolated. and controlled. I've isolated myself from others and been left alone in my thoughts and my stinking thinking. But then the Lord started to transform my life through this thing called Celebrate Recovery. And I realized the importance of good quality people, good quality mentors to pour into me, to speak into me. Yo, I've never been a people person, never been really people-y. For me to stand up here, y'all, this is one of those miracles on miracles that we sing about, for me to be standing right here right now. Because I have been shy, introverted, a shell of a human, afraid to be real and to be seen. But in working these steps, I understood that I needed to find people that were where I wanted to be. And so I was so bold as to make somebody my friend. I'm talking about Holly. I had to step out of my comfort shell and do something that is so not even me and just say, hey, I think we need to connect. So the bravest thing you can do is step out of your comfort and just say, you know what, we need to connect. I want what you have. I want to learn from you. There is no shame in that. It is the boldest, bravest thing you can do. So tonight, do not leave here without forming a team, making relationships. It is hard and it's scary, but it can transform your life in a way that you don't even know. What could the Lord do if you would just step out of your own way, let people in, let people love you, let people help you, let people guide you? We're better together, y'all. We're better together. If you find yourself in the mouth of a lion, don't give up, speak up, be a hollering hyena. Thank you.